Good morning, Ekoji. My name is Rich Wolford, and I'll be your service leader. We welcome you back and are grateful for your presence. On the 19th is our resident minister, Reverend Nari Hayashi. Today's service is also being live streamed via this. Our main priority is keeping our song safe, and a safe place to hear the Dharma. So though we're happy to see you, please be mindful of others' comfort levels and the following policies. And keep your mask on at all times. Be mindful of social distancing. We are allowed to chat along with Reverend Hayashi since we have masks on. And thank you for your understanding and feel free to participate at your own comfort levels. Reverend Hayashi will now lead us in opening meditation and recitation of the numbers.
Meditation provides a pause that prepares our mind to receive the Dharma. Please place your hand on your lap, lower your head slightly, and release tension from meditation. Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo Amida.
So please rise, and we will now sing the Vandana Kisarana. Three references found in the insert on the service. Please sit. And turn to page 29 in the service book. We'll stand to Sanmu Joe. 33 in the service book, and we will chant them this together. This morning, our Dharma message is given by Reverend Nagai.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday hybrid service. So, one of the purpose or the reason, why we chant is because, this chanting, it provides a moment to, it's like a meditation. You're concentrating, and sometimes, it's like you forget what's going on. And that's why I made a mistake, doing the chanting. So I don't know what happened. I just, I was unconscious. And then I made that mistake and suddenly, I got conscious. But sorry for that. So to begin today's Dharma talk, I would like to quote from a text called Kanisho. So please join me in Gasho. The meaning of the Nembutsu Namo Amida Butsu is that it is beyond all logic, for it is beyond description, beyond understanding, and beyond conception. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. So once again, good morning. So yesterday, is the mic okay? So yesterday, I was walking in my front yard to check how my plants were doing. And then I found an inchworm. Sorry. So I found an inchworm on, maybe I don't need the mic. I found an inchworm on the tip of the rim of the flower pot. So it was a very tiny and green inchworm, and it was like, using its entire body to move forward, on the rim of the flower pot. And after a few hours, I went outside again, right, to go to running. And I found the same inchworm walking on the same flower pot. Maybe we should turn off the mic. Sorry about that. So yeah, so as I was saying, I saw that. Oh, and then my ninja broke. This is not a good day. So right. So I found the same inchworm, right? And it was walking on the same flower pot. So it has been like, a few hours that, that inchworm was walking around that same flower pot. So I felt kind of sorry. So I moved it to a leaf of a tree. So it is their nature that when an inchworm is on a circle object, it goes around and around endlessly. So the inchworm is not fooling around. The inchworm is very serious, but it cannot escape from going around and around because it does not realize it is doing so. Kind of interesting, right? So Tanduang the great Chinese monk who is revered as one of the 7 patriarchs in Shin Buddhism, says in his writing of the commentary on treatise on the Pure Land that our daily activities are like an inchworm, endlessly circling around the rim of a cup. In Buddhism, it is said there are 5 groups of desires in the world. Desire arising from the forms the eyes see, from the sounds the ears hear, from the fragrance the nose smell, from taste pleasant to the tongue, and from things that are agreeable to the sense of touch. To live is to take in. What comes into our sense is pretty much consistent, but the way we judge them differs. So, some people like the smell and the taste of garlic, but others hate it. Some see dogs as cute and others see them as ugly. Buddhism teaches us that our self-oriented tendency, or you can say ego, that we all have deep within ourselves impedes us from seeing the world and everything in it as it really is. So we tend to see things the way we believe it to see or want it to be. Thus, we often make judgments by only seeing one side of the story. For example, consider the news channels. Among the many, major news channels like CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, we often get information from one source, depending on our preferences or political beliefs. This is especially so during the presidential election. So a person who prefers CNN may not refer to Fox News, or a person who prefers Fox News may not refer to CNN. We should be taking a fair and balanced approach to TV news consumption by watching more than one of the major networks, but we often fail to do so. So we become biased. As a result, we make judgments without knowing the whole story. This is when division occurs and how we make this world a difficult place to live in. What is true of our sense of sight is true of other senses as well. So we want to hear what we want to hear. We want to feel what we want to feel. We want to taste what we want to taste. We want to smell what we want to smell. Indeed, this is our nature. Therefore, we cannot eliminate neither our desires nor our self-oriented tendency or ego. However, this does not mean that we're hopeless or helpless. We may not be able to extinguish completely this self-oriented tendency, but we can do something about it. The story of Amida Buddha in the largest sutra makes it possible. As you know, the largest sutra is a sutra fundamental to Shin Buddhism. And chanting like we did Sambutsuge, and also the other chanting we usually do Jusege, those are part of this largest sutra. It comes from this largest sutra. And in the largest sutra, Ananda, who is one of Shakyamuni Buddha's disciple, the Buddha's disciple, explains that Shakyamuni Buddha taught to a large company of 12,000 monks that there once was a bodhisattva called Dharmakara who aspired to become a Buddha and establish a Buddha land to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. Dharmakara created 48 vows and contemplated on them for 5 lam kalpas, practiced for innumerable eons of time to fulfill his vows for the sake of all others, and finally became a Buddha called Amida Buddha, and established a Buddha land called Pure Land. This story, the story of Amida Buddha, is explained in terms of human experience so that we can appreciate the truth But the ultimate nature of Amida Buddha, Pure Land, and also the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, as the embodiment of Amida's working, transcends time and space, and therefore it goes beyond our comprehension. As I quoted in the beginning from the text of Tannisho, Shinran, the founder of Shin Buddhism, says, the meaning of the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, is that it is beyond all logic, for it is beyond description, beyond understanding, and beyond conception. The nature of Amida Buddha and Pure Land is beyond our comprehension, but it is in its transcendency that there is a way to leave aside our ego and our excessive reliance on the self. So then, because there's this path, even though it remains inconceivable to the end, it is important for us to keep on engaging it by listening to the story of Amida, chant the sutras, and also recite the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Amida Buddha, as the immeasurable wisdom and compassion, leads our thoughts beyond our calculations and brings us to become part of something bigger and greater that contributes to the welfare of all sentient beings. There, if anywhere, we can transcend our thoughts and experience a moment of liberation from this absolute I that is unaware of the whole of life. The great Zen master Dogen once said, to study the Buddha way is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self. So according to Dogen, forgetting is not like forgetting your wallet or your iPhone at home. It's not that level, but it's more deeper. It means to transcend your thoughts and calculation. And the story of Amida Buddha makes it possible. Bijo Mingasho. By reciting the Nembutsu Namo Amida Butsu, we are reminded what makes our individual lives even more meaningful, and we are also reminded the Dharma in times of need. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. I'd like to do today's reading. The Nembutsu, for its practitioners, is not a practice or a good act. Since it is not performed out of one's own designs, it is not a practice. Since it is not good done through one's own calculation, it is not a good act. Because it arises wholly from the power beyond the self and is free of self-power, for the practicer, it is not a practice or a good act. Namandavutsu, namandavutsu, namandavutsu.
During this part of the service, we perform the ritual of Shogo with our participants. Due to the interim policy of the board, instead of burning the money, sharing the pieces of the smoke. We invite you to come to the club table, offer back your own first jhana. This is our offering. We're going to do the Buddha Dharma song. Please be aware of your surroundings, the approach mindfully, and please return your seat to the other side. Thank you for the music, Mark. Reverend Action will now lead us in closing meditation and recitation of the Lord's.
Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha.
Before we conclude, just a few announcements and reminders of upcoming weeks. So if you'd like to consider participating in our weekly dogma discussion group, it begins right after service over there where Maya sits, and it'll be also with our online summit. We are collecting new socks as part of our Eastern Buddhist League service project. So if you'd like to help, please bring the socks on Sundays and put them in a laundry basket out there in the foyer. In-person meditation will resume this Thursday, July 1st at 7:30 p.m. here in the Hondo. Our gratitude to Frank and Roger for hosting. We are currently seeking steward group leaders and service leaders, so if you're interested in participating in those things, please email ekoji.info@gmail.com if you'd like to be part of that and serve. We have the first one, Mike, who's already taken that first steward duty, so that's great. Also, we started our Ekoji podcast. The first one is just released with our own Ken Nakamura, guest star and celebrity. If you would enjoy being a guest and telling your story, your journey on the please contact the office at ekoji.info@gmail.com or Molly here. And lastly, our monthly temple cleanup will take place next Sunday, July 4th at 10 a.m. Come before service, give us your hand, that's not too hard. Many hands, everybody. Brother Hunter now will do some closing action.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
That concludes our service. Have a great day. Thanks for coming.